Alrighty.
We all.
What up? You know what it is? LA Icon Food Community Podcast. And today we have a special guest. To my left, your right, we have Brook Sibrian. On the board today, we got Smoked Out LA. And of course, we got
What up?
Jay
What
from
up?
360 Promotions in the cut. Um, for the people that are not familiar with who you are, my dear, who are you and where are you from?
Of course, yes. My name is Brook Sibrian. I'm from Coachella Valley, reside in Coachella Valley, but I'm originally from the San Fernando Valley.
That's right.
A professional boxer. Now 2-0 with 1 KO and going for my third one on April 20th.
How did you? Well, first of all, what was it like growing up in the valley?
It was great for me. I wasn't into any trouble or, that didn't lead me into the boxing lifestyle. But I grew up. Well, I originally was born in Montebello, but then grew up
Mm-hmm.
in San Fernando. But pretty cool, nice. Comfortable lifestyle and family growing up. But I fell into boxing later in life. I was 27 and found fitness boxing.
Mm.
So I already became like first generation college graduate, did my thing in the East Coast, and then I was like doing my 9 to 5, and I was like, I need something else. So I found a fitness boxing class, and I picked it up really quickly. And I think that's because of my athletic background. So growing up, I was all about soccer. That was my dream to become a professional soccer player.
So you have stamina.
Yeah. But when I went to college, I was like, I'm over it. And then I kind of, I guess it led me into boxing and I stuck with it. And then about 2 years later, I debuted as an amateur and then quickly went up the ranks.
So how did you transition from being just trying to do it for fitness purposes to deciding that, hey, maybe I can actually box?
Right. It was really the coaches that I was around. When I started doing the fitness boxing classes, everybody was like, man, like you're good and you're picking it up fast. And then naturally, my competitive nature was kind of like, well, I should just train to have an amateur fight and see where I'm at. There's nothing
Fire.
like the competition aspect. And then that's when I found Edgar at 818 Boxing in San Fernando when I came eventually back home.
Shout out to A1A Boxing.
Shout out. And I met my now fiance, Mega Soto. He became my first coach, and he'll like brag. And if you let him tell us the story, he knew since the minute I walked in that I was gonna be great.
Took advantage of you.
Right? Yeah, Edgar played Cupid, and we linked up, and then after that, it was just kind of like I think I could do this, and obviously, I sparred, and then once I sparred, I'm like, all right, clearly I'm about this life, so I just kept going.
So then you've been athletic your whole life.
Yeah.
You played soccer your entire life.
Yes.
You played softball and all the other shit, or just soccer?
No, soccer.
Soccer exclusively.
Exclusively, like Premier League, super competitive, like traveling the country for it and everything. And
How did you not end up being a soccer star instead then?
I didn't get the scholarship I wanted for college. So I
Mm.
took that as a sign to just be like, you know what, it's not for me. I'm gonna go explore and discover something else.
So you didn't get the athletic scholarship or the educational scholarship that you wanted?
Athletic.
Hmm.
So yeah, so the options were okay, going to a school and try to, walk on to their team. And I was surrounded by people who were going D1 schools. So it was kind of like a failure in my mind at that, 18 years old. You think, it's that or nothing. So, but looking back now, I'm like, it led me to this. And now I was like, I'm not doing that again. And I have the opportunity to go pro. So we're going to do it.
And here you are. So, who was the first? At what point into your boxing training did you decide you were gonna take your first sparring session?
So I
Weeks,
trained.
months, years?
Yeah, it was months. It was about probably 2 to 3 months of consistent training, 6 days a week. All day kind of thing, adding the road work. And then that's when Edgar was like, okay, I think you're ready to spar. I sparred my second sparring ever. I got my nose broken, and I was
Mhm.
more mad that I had to wait to get back in there to get it back than the break. So again, that was another sign to be like, okay, I'm about it. So let's keep going and keep at it.
That's crazy. So then you naturally have footwork then.
You know, I have been, yeah, hearing that a lot about, like, I guess it translated over.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I would definitely attest to that, to my soccer background.
And prior to you doing the fitness boxing, were you like a casual boxing fan, an avid boxing fan? You didn't give a shit about boxing?
Didn't give a shit about it. And maybe if somebody like made me watch it or something, maybe I'd be like, I can appreciate it. But I was never around it. And I don't know. I guess I wasn't around people either that like made it a thing to watch or anything. So absolutely zero boxing background.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you get your nose broken. It takes you a couple of months to get back in there. So when do you decide it's your time to take your first amateur fight?
So this was probably August of 2019. So by January of 2020, we were like, okay, I'm ready to debut as an amateur. But then COVID happened. So everything was down. And so that whole year, just consistent training. By the end of 2020, we actually end up moving to Coachella for
Mm-hmm.
boxing. So
Fire.
a lot of things happen. Mega ends up getting opportunity to spar Chocolatito, Roman Gonzalez, in Coachella. That was our introduction to the Valley and my introduction to boxing, especially at that level with a legend, right? And then we move over there. We're all in. I was all in. We had an amazing opportunity to also learn from Marcos Caballero, which was my initial coach in the Valley, and then we keep training, and then I debut in Nicaragua in May of 2021.
What was that experience like? Do they pay for you to go there as an amateur, or no? You had to fly your butt
I
over there and figure it
wish.
out.
Yeah, no, not. I mean, amateurs, nothing is paid for, right? And so we just started to build a community out there, and we had a village that like supported us and me, and we were able to raise the funds for the flights and obviously, the lodging and everything. So shout out to our village because I mean, it would have not have been happen. It would have not happened.
That's crazy. So did you win your first amateur fight?
I did. And the crazy part is I had two fights within the hour on the same night. Because in Nicaragua, nobody gives a shit about anything. Like in terms of like regulation or, protocol or,
No, yeah. You want to fight again? All
Yeah,
right, let's get it.
exactly. Like they're just about it. If you're about it, then let's just do it, right? So there were two promotions or, organizations that put on the shows. So we were like, let's make the most of the trip. And it ended up being that they happened on the same night. Because I think originally it would have been like the day after or something. And then I get into the ring, the first one, I come out, I win by decision. They take off my gloves, but I keep everything on. We get in the car. We're literally driving through Managua with like the police sirens, getting to the next venue. I get there. The girl's already ready. Put the gloves back on, go in there, and then stop her in the first round. So it was it was
Pretty
insane,
crazy.
but pretty cool. Yeah.
What was that like?
I mean, it was so surreal, and I think it happened so fast I couldn't process it. But now I'm like, the adrenaline is insane. But it was awesome because I felt like one, I was able to take care of business, and then reassure myself that this is what I am doing and what I actually enjoy. So,
Did either of those girls give you a problem at all, or no?
no, no. I mean, my first one was initially probably I could have ended it earlier, but it was, I mean, that itself was just chaos. Like if I think about it now, it's just like a big blur because, it's the first time you're getting in there with someone trying to
Mhm.
rip your head off. But no, it was great. It was a really awesome experience. And, I mean, the second one, I was happy to redeem myself and kind of slow it down, calm it down. And obviously I got the stoppage in the first. So
Yeah.
ended the night on a really good note, high note for me.
No, absolutely. I mean, 2 wins in a night.
Yeah.
Can't be mad at it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. And so, at what point, how many amateur fights do you take before you decide to turn pro?
So Mega, again, crazy thing to hear is that before I even went for my amateur debut, he was like, we'll do like 30 amateur fights and then we'll go pro. And I'm like, I'm just trying to have one. I ended up having 25 amateur fights, 22 and 3. The last amateur fight was actually representing El Salvador in a Olympic qualifier tournament, which I'm not even supposed to be there. It's
Of course.
crazy. And we didn't get the decision, and so at that point, I had already become a two-time national champion in the U.S. and then obviously had the opportunity to represent El Salvador. So we're like, you know what? I'm about to turn 30. We did what we could in the amateurs. Now it's time to go pro.
Talk to me about winning the national championship and how that route took place.
Yeah, so we traveled all over the U.S. to rack up all of the experience as much as possible.
And
And
how are you guys funding this whole time?
everything is raised and funded by our amazing sponsors and family.
Fire.
Yeah. Yeah. So 25 fights in 2 years.
Tell your sponsors to sponsor the full community.
I know they're insane. I'm like so fortunate. Obviously, it's my motivation to keep, bringing in these victories because
That's fucking amazing.
it's amazing.
Were you flying or driving?
Both, depending, if it was.
No, yeah. If it's semi-local,
But
I
all
feel
the
that.
tournaments, like all the national tournaments, I mean, we were going to Texas, and it's for the full week, and that adds up fast.
Very much so.
So you're talking about equipment, obviously, like this everything, lodging, travel. Yeah, it's a lot. So shout out to them because I mean they've been there since day one, and even till this point, like as a professional, my day ones are still on my trunks.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean 25 fights, 2 years consistency. They really are, the secret weapon behind our success.
Fire. So, what was your most difficult fight out of those two times?
I would always say the third fight. Actually, no, the first fight of the tournament because theoretically, right, you fight like the people on like lower on the rankings, like less experience, and then obviously as you climb up the rank or the tournament, you go with the harder. But
Mhm.
usually, no, you don't realize it though. But if you can get past the first one, which is you have the jitters, you have, sometimes a lot of times you don't have any film to watch these people that maybe have never competed at the level,
Mhm.
right? So it's a little bit of a wild curveball for the first fight. But if you can get past that one, then your mental gets stronger, and then obviously you have the momentum from the previous fights. And
Mhm.
for both tournaments, I fought 3 days consecutively. So the harder part about that is making weight every day you fight.
That's kind of crazy now
Yeah.
I think about it.
Yeah. So you have to make weight and you fight the same day. And then again, you advance, you got to do it again. And then third. Yeah.
So you're kind of dehydrated.
I mean, obviously everybody's different. But just if you're disciplined enough and you kind of have your routine down, you're good. But yeah, I mean, you're after the fights, sometimes like I wouldn't eat, not because I wasn't like I was too heavy, but like obviously because your body's still burning stuff and you're like adrenaline's high,
Mhm.
but still you're mindful of it. And then if you still have to lose whatever pounds, you got to get in the hot bath or do whatever your thing is. Like for me, I like hot baths. So getting in if you have a jacuzzi or if you just have a regular bath, you put Epsom salt, alcohol, and then you turn it up and you kind of boil for a little bit.
How long do you stay in the hot tub for?
The most I've ever done was solid like 12, 15 minutes.
Yeah, but what temperature is that at?
Oh,
Like what, like 110 or something?
I've never like tested it, but to the point where your skin immediately is red and burning.
Because I have a jacuzzi at home and I'm in it religiously. The people that are watching this now could probably co-sign that, but it's only like at 101 though.
So it's like it's hot, but you're comfortable.
I'm chilling. Like
No, no, no.
after like 30 minutes, I'm sweating for sure.
Yeah. No, but you usually want to do like 10 minutes, so you kind of crank it up. So it burns.
I really want to know what the exact temperature
I
is.
know.
So,
Next time we do it.
are you gonna
105?
105?
Right. Isn't like 104 standard jacuzzi temperature, right?
I don't know. I have mine's at
I don't know. That's a good question.
102. Feels like 20 minutes is a really long time sometimes. No, really. And then when you take it down 1 degree, it's now I could chill in there for 45 and go live and do
Yeah.
ridiculous things on the internet.
I have a question. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
You said you were in a rush to go pro, right?
Mhm.
Like you wanted to hurry up and be pro. You said you wanted to have one amateur fight, and that
Right.
was it. So do you feel like the 25 fights after that one initial fight? Do you think that was kind of necessary that you go through that before you go pro, or do you think that you were ready?
No. For me, I was like, I want as many amateur fights as I could possibly have.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because I had no prior background. So for me, I was like, I want to go the amateur route and climb the ranks.
Okay, I had it twisted the other way
Yeah,
around.
no. But I knew that I was about it, I think, in the initial fight.
Okay.
Yeah. That I was like, okay, I like it enough. I knew that I could have the potential of going pro, but I was more focused on like one fight at a time. That's just.
Okay, so on the flip side of that,
Yeah.
when you initially went pro, how did that feel? Were you reluctant, or were you kind of like, you know what, 25, I'm ready, let's do this?
Yes. So after my 25th fight, that's when I said, and I confidently could tell others, not just myself too, that I was ready for the pros.
Okay.
Yeah. Before then, actually earlier that year, so about 6 months before that happened, a lot of people around me in the sport, but even coaches and stuff, they were like, you're ready. And I didn't have that feeling inside. I'm like, maybe, but I still need some. And then after that last tournament, I was like, okay, now I'm ready. So.
And over what course of time are these 25 fights taking place? Like, how long is this span?
So we had 25 in 2 years, but which equals out to like a fight a month. But really, because of the tournaments, you can have 3 to 4 in a single week. But roughly like every 2 months, there's fighting going on. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And I'm going to assume you weren't taking on that much damage, because recovering in 2 months is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely different than the pros for sure. And I've had
three fights a week is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Say if you get banged up the first fight.
Exactly. You have to keep going and deal with it. I personally, my experience wasn't too bad. Like, I actually always felt pretty decent. Obviously, like, try to do your best with recovery basics, right? Sleeping and the stretching, and if you have access to, a chiropractor and, other services like cryotherapy, things like that. I mean, they go a long way.
Amazing. So at what point do you decide, okay, I'm going to turn? Oh, well, you just said after the tournament, you're like, okay, I'm ready to rock.
Yeah.
Now, how do you know what promotional company to try to figure out? Do you have an agent? Do you have how does this all take place for Brook?
Yeah. So for me, it was a little different, right? You have some people that, they have connects or people reaching out to them, but we ended up kind of going the back route, right? Like going out to see what promoters were going to have shows within the time frame that we were looking for. And then 2, that would give me an opportunity, right? And so first one was on Elite Boxing. And then by that time we had already kind of like made an impact, I think, in like social media, and then putting it, like making the connections with some people, including Hexar, shout out to Hexar, and then got us into 360 Promotions. And that was a game changer for my second fight.
So who was your first fight under?
Elite Boxing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what would you say the differences are between the 2 promotional companies?
360 Promotions is a completely different level. We're talking about complete professionalism, so much history in the sport. Tom Loeffler is obviously just a legend, but also
Shout to Tom.
Yeah, I mean, he knows what he's doing.
He's a great guy.
Over 20 years, great human being, but also too brought us, one of my favorites, of course, Roman Chocolatito and Triple G, the Klitschko. So, it's just from the minute that, we just spoke and coordinated to the fighting, and even post-fight, it's just everything was so seamless. It was so honest, right? Very professional. And honestly, I just had a great great experience. Sorry. And then also too, the team is pretty dope. Everybody is so personable, down to earth, but they also love being there and being part of that team. And it attracts you, right? It wants you to be there. So for me, it's been amazing. So going now for the second fight.
Who are you facing?
I am facing Ashley Felix from Tijuana, 4-1. And
Them fighters from Mexico ain't playing no games.
never, 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 never. They bring the heat, and I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
What are the odds?
I'm gonna say me. No, I think it's gonna be a great fight. Like you said, they always bring the heat, and obviously more experience than I am, but that's what we want. I mean, I want to be tested, and I want to be pushed because I'm trying to get her with the best and eventually go for that world title. So, got to start now.
At least you don't gotta travel far, and you just gotta go to the Commerce.
Yeah, and shout out, that's amazing for my family and friends because everybody's from LA, and so
Everyone could pull up.
yes,
And you're born in Montebello,
exactly.
so it's right around the corner for people that may still live in that general area.
Yep, actually, I have a really big family.
I mean, I've been there for it was your first fight to me.
Right.
But yeah, your second fight technically, I was
I know.
ringside there, and I saw you put in massive work. My wife was cheering for you. She was crazy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we took a picture. It didn't come out that great, so we're gonna have to take another one.
That's probably my fault. I understand.
It was not, but yeah, it was a great card for sure.
For people that are coming up and coming into the amateurs that have a little bit of weight to throw around like you kind of did, would you say that 360 is a place to be?
Yes, definitely. I think, and I get this too from a lot of, I'm going to say kids because they're younger, right?
I understand.
Yeah. But there was like, oh, why don't you go to Golden Boy and Top Rank and everything? And then just I had to educate them and there's greatness, even without those brands. Of course, they have the name and, the I guess publicity or whatever, but I mean 360 Promotions is under the radar and they don't get as much respect as I think as they should, but I think it's a great opportunity for anybody that's willing to obviously be active and want to test themselves because it's not about babying them, and I don't know. I think it's people should
I've
seek
seen
them
some
out.
wars.
Yeah. And it's great for the fans. At the end of the day, we're entertainers. People pay some hard-earned money to be in those seats and be watching them. So, it's good to put on some amazing shows, performances.
I feel it.
Yeah.
So, what is your general game plan for this fight?
General game plan. Well, I am naturally a pressure fighter. So for me, I love pushing the fight. I love volume punching, a lot of movement, head movement, waist movement. So I've been really focusing on honing that and making sure that that's kind of the basics in my game. And I really believe that I'll be victorious with that.
I respect it.
Domination.
I have a good friend by the name of Leo Santa Cruz, and he's a big volume puncher, and he's always about moving forward and taking it to them and stuff like that, and punching out if they're willing. How much do you know about your opponent's style of fighting and whatnot?
Yeah, we've definitely done our homework and we've watched some of the video film there. Of course, you never know until you in the ring.
Yeah, anything can happen in the ring.
Anything can happen. The importance is being alert, being sharp, and just sticking to the game plan, making sure you're listening to your corner. Because at any moment, I mean, they're your second pair of eyes, and if you have to make an adjustment, you make it. So I think general, that's our game plan, and I think we'll be good.
I ain't mad at it. What you got back there, Buckaroo?
Ask.
How did you feel the first time you got cracked in your face?
That's so funny. So I guess the first time I would say was when my nose got broken, and it just felt like a like crashing into a wall and then like quick little blackness, but then you come back up. Yeah. I mean, it's if that my description can kind of tell you. Yeah.
I've been hitting my face.
It's like, oh, okay, we're doing this.
But
Yeah.
I feel it. But you also said that you weren't even worried about the nose healing, right? You want to get back up in there and get your get back.
I know. Yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, my mom still, I can hear it right now, like your face. I'm like, I've always said this. I'm like, the minute that I said I was gonna do this, I'm like, okay, broken noses, things like that are gonna happen. I'll get it fixed afterwards.
That's right.
That's crazy.
Like a real play.
So, where do you see your future going, assuming that you just keep winning? Like, what's the master plan like? Let me ask you this instead.
Yeah.
Who are you inspired by as far as boxers now that you're in the game? Because before you didn't really give a shit, right? So now, like, who do you look up to for inspiration and stuff like that?
Yeah. My day-to-day inspiration, and I mean this by who I study, and also to who I seek advice from, and Mega too. We both seek it from is Chocolatito. We literally have been sending him my amateur fights since day one. He was there in that first one, and even when we were there, like 2 weeks ago in Nicaragua. I mean, we were training there, studying film. So on that level, it's definitely him. But honestly, we study so much film on a day-to-day basis that I get inspiration, from every type of fighter that we watch, whoever's fighting. There's always something to learn. There really is something to learn. Like, obviously my style and my size, my chain, it's not going to be the same as like watching Mayweather or whatever, but there's still things that they do that you can apply to your game.
What is your exact weight class?
So I am right now at 108.
Is that like minimum?
Fly.
Oh, okay,
flyweight.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then eventually minimum weight, which is 105.
I feel it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the fight that's coming up? Just to pivot real quick, just because I watched it last night. How do you think about the Valle and Estrada fight that's about to take place?
I'm so excited for it. I think it's amazing for boxing, women's boxing, and for me, it's super special. I've been in the ring with both of them, sparring, and they are, great champions in their own right. And I think it's going to be a dope fight. I think if they both come in and have whoever executes their strategy and their game plan the best is going to win. But I really, I've been there in both of them. And I mean, I've learned so much from both. So I think it's great.
May I ask who hits harder since you sparred with both of them?
Yeah, no, I definitely felt a little bit more of a whip from Sinisa. Yeah.
Fun fact, I've known Sinisa since she was like born, kind of.
Yeah.
Me and her older brother grew up. Both of her brothers grew up together.
That's awesome. Yeah, she's so dope. Yeah, she's been awesome. Such a professional.
Did you see their presser or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, the talk or something like that.
Yep.
We watched that actually yesterday.
I was literally watching it last night and was like, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's good. It feels it's fun to watch, I love the competitiveness on both. And they have their own styles, right?
I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
That was it's unique. It's a unique scenario. It's unique circumstances for Sinisa because Gloria went over there, right?
Right.
But I mean, I guess we're gonna see what it is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is Mega your trainer?
He is my trainer.
Your head trainer.
He's my head trainer.
So it's safe to say we don't gotta worry about him leaving anywhere, right?
No. We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
No.
You can't be having fools defecting from the camps and shit. And then going with the ops in the middle of a title.
Yeah, no, we won't have that problem.
So you fight. Your significant other fights.
Yes.
Right. I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. You guys are at a bar, restaurant, right? Somebody gets crazy. Who's throwing the first punch? You or him?
So,
Keep it real.
this is so funny. This is funny. It depends if it's a male or female.
Okay. Well, have you ever...
Let's say it's a male.
Right.
Then that's all him.
I feel like you'd still be down
I
though.
feel like you would
think?
throw one.
I mean, he can hold his own,
Right?
you know.
Yeah, for sure.
What's
Okay.
Mega's record?
12-3.
Definitely has some fights in.
Yeah, and
She's like, yeah.
yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, we spar all the time. I'm a little bit less now that he's head training me, and obviously, but we sparred consistently.
Do you beat
And
his ass?
no, everybody, I get that all the time, but no, I mean, he's not hitting me 100%, but he gives me
Why not?
Yeah, why? Yeah, why not?
to my body maybe 80%, but he's still a man. I'm not. Of course, we want to say, oh, women are equal, but biologically, men, obviously, he's a man. So
Stronger.
Yeah.
Period.
So he's not gonna crack the shit out of me. But
What's your weight class, brother? Oh yeah, so you're still a little bit heavier.
Definitely.
yeah, no.
I respect it.
But no, he as I've progressed and gotten better, he's been, hitting a little harder to the body and doing that.
Babe.
So it's good. We
Fire.
don't fight. There's been a handful of sparring sessions where we did. Well, I walked out and I was like crying because mentally frustrating when you have someone in there who knows what they're doing and he's just frustrating me. It'll get to me.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever want to throw on the gloves because of a disagreement?
That's never happened. We've never said, you know what?
That's lightweight DV for sure.
No,
We've never had that.
it can't be. It can't be.
As
If they go
mutual
into-
combat?
If they go into the ring and they both throw on some gloves and they're like, you know what?
Yeah.
They're
Let's go.
Professionals?
You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
It's an exhibition.
That's so funny. Isn't it?
I like it. It's who vacuums next. You know what I'm saying?
See if we could get Tom behind a
Oh my gosh, that's so
co-ed
funny.
exhibition.
I like it.
So, well, there's that, man. Who are your top 5 boxers of all time? Male and then female.
Okay. I would definitely say Jackie Nava, Amanda Serrano. I would say Chrissy Martin. I would say Layla Ali. And I would say maybe right now too. No, who was the last one? Sinisa.
I respect it.
Males definitely Choco. I would also say Pacquiao, Triple G, Duran, and I'm a little tied. Well, if I had 5 or 6, I would say Cotto is one of them. Even though
Miguel made it to the cut?
his body punching is one of my favorites, some of my favorites. But also to Alexis Arguello. So it's a mix.
That's unique.
It's thorough.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Oh, Tyson is there too.
You gotta
But-
throw Tyson in.
I know.
I
he is-
feel like saying Mike
See?
Tyson is like saying Michael Jordan. Like, you don't
Like, they don't
really
count.
gotta.
They don't count.
That's-
They're just
yeah. Well, also too, like if you wanted to ask me like for certain things, who's my favorite, then I could, like inside fighting,
Okay.
volume punching, if you want to go that jabs.
If you had a legendary individual able to co-train you with Mega, who would it be? Because who 360 works with and shit. Big Fred.
Mm-hmm.
The Roach.
Yeah. I would, because active right now, yeah, definitely, Freddie Roach.
Dream scenario.
Wow, I've never thought about this.
You love Mega as a trainer so much.
I know. Wow, I'm biased. No, I would definitely go Freddie Roach. And I'm not just saying that because you just said that, but I'm thinking like with the coach's hat, obviously like still in it, and obviously the pedigree, right? Like legendary skills.
I feel it.
Yeah.
So although we know that 360 is doing well promotion wise, it's on UFC, Fight Pass, etc., it may not be one of the bigger ones yet. So with that being said, you got to self promote a little bit. What are some of the pros and cons you see of self promoting, and how does it feel? Because I know it's like I equate everything to rapping. Like, you're an underground rapper to me right now. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense whatsoever.
It does.
So I know what it's like for a rapper. What's it like for a boxer?
It is a lot of work. I think nobody really tells you that if you want to be, big or, make some moves, you have to invest and make the time to do this part. And Mega, I know, I feels like I'm always waving that flag, but since the amateurs, and this is why our village was able to fund so much, and we were able to like raise and get to where we wanted to, because he was pushing it, getting on interviews and podcasts, and doing, getting in front of the cameras and all of the news networks, and going out of their way to like harass them, to like, hey, pay attention, like can I, take some time out of your day and share my story. It takes a lot of time, effort, a lot of rejection, but then once you start doing it, I mean, it's a game changer. And we've done a lot of it. I've been able to practice quite a bit. So now as I start my professional career, it's nothing super crazy. And I know kind of how to like juggle it and manage it within training camp and work, because I also have a full-time job too, and then doing this, so it's a lot.
What's it like with your training regimen with having a full-time job? And if you don't mind me asking, what is it that you do?
Of course, yeah. I'm in digital media advertising for the Wall Street Journal. So those little ads that pop up, my team creates them for clients. And I've been fully remote, a remote employee for about 5 years now.
As a remote employee, do they have you on that weird little app where it clocks how many hours you're putting in?
No.
Oh, so you're working all day.
Yes.
That's fucking fire.
It is. I'm working right now. No, but in all seriousness, the flexibility is insane. So a lot of my clients are in the East Coast, so it works out even better.
Yeah,
6 a.m.
offices are closed already.
9 a.m. And I'm an early bird, so it has really allowed me to again be all into this passion of mine. And so I've that's what I do. And
is advertising what you went to college for?
The way that I found it was not what I thought. I technically
What would you major in?
I was in business management. So
typical.
Exactly. So it was so broad that when I found myself in the advertising space, I was like, oh, I can do this. Okay.
I took advertising 101.
Yeah,
I feel it.
So yeah, I never saw myself doing in that route, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But once I was in, I was like, oh yeah, makes sense.
So then it works out all right then.
Works out perfectly.
Like it's meant to be.
Yeah.
How many fights away could you be from a possible title shot?
I don't know that answer, because I think it varies, especially with women. I mean, we've seen people with like 6 fights, going for a title shot.
That's what I mean. So like minimum amount of fights, how many are you looking at? You're already 2 in.
Maybe 10.
I respect it.
Yeah.
That's respectable.
I'm like the type where like, look, I trust my team, and when my time is up and ready, I'll be ready. I don't know if that what number is associated with it, but
no, I'm just asking generally.
No, yeah.
Just what do I know?
I've seen a little bit of everything, so I'm like, I don't know if there's like a minimum. There's no minimum requirement, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously.
And on the card that you're fighting on, what's the main event?
The main event is Cain Sandoval.
Well, how do you say the other dude's last name?
Versus Rebollar.
So on the card that you're fighting on, who's the main event?
It's Cain Sandoval versus Rebollar.
Fire. How much you know about each of those fighters?
I've actually recently seen Cain fight in Chumash. I want to say a month ago or two. No,
how was that?
It was amazing.
I should have been there.
Yeah. That was a really, really, I mean, the drive up was pretty wild, but it was obviously really.
You're close to there, so how was it wild?
Well, we were, no, we're not.
Yes, you are. Closer than where you are right now.
Well, we were from Coachella and then we went to LA.
Oh, no shit, huh? I keep thinking that you're in the valley. No, you moved to freaking Coachella.
Yeah.
Nah. Damn, that drive was crazy.
It was like a multi-day, situation to get up there. But it was awesome. It's a really nice venue. And Cain, had a great fight. I think it was with Molina.
He beat Javier, huh?
Yeah.
Olympian.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Brother to Carlos, my boy. Yeah, I know the Molina brothers. That was crazy. I mean, I'm a company man, you know what I mean? So whatever 360 says, I'm with, you know what I'm saying? But secretly, Javi's my guy, you know what I'm saying? I saw him years and years and years ago coming up, and they were saying, who cares? Point is, it's Sugar Cane took it, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Kane. I think we're gonna have him up here soon. But so who do you have in that fight?
Oh, Kane all day.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Any predictions?
I'm gonna say he's gonna stop him. Let's say this, the 8th.
It's kind of deep. I say knockout in the 3rd.
Wow.
Can we bet? Is there a sports book right there at Commerce for this?
Some of them get put on Vegas.
He's like, I know a guy.
No, some of the fights get put on in
No, I feel it.
Vegas.
I mean, I'm gonna be there.
Oh,
I'll
nice.
be in the corral, so hopefully some blood flies my way. See how it goes. Is there anything you'd like to leave the people with before we clock out of here, my dear?
I would love to invite everyone to watch me live at Commerce Casino, 420. And for those that can't make it, to tune in UFC Fight Pass.
Yep. Make sure you guys check out all 360 promotion events on UFC Fight Pass. All fire. Yeah. Make sure you stay tuned. What are some other upcoming events we got coming up, Jay? Other than 420.
After that, it'll be Chocolatito Casino again.
Who's fighting on that card? I look forward to definitely
June
being in
7th,
attendance
right?
for that one.
June 7th.
73 days.
In 73 days, you'll be able to watch Caleb Walsh continue his trek to greatness at the Chumash Casino. But for right now, make sure you guys tap in. 420 is going down to Commerce Casino. Link in the description and get your tickets, or check my story, or go to 360 Promotions in Google and you'll be able to figure it out. Brooke is going to kick ass. We look forward to seeing you guys soon. This has been another episode of the Food Community Podcast. Unfortunately, our sports broadcaster wasn't here today, but we had Smokes.
Shout out Mike Theory.
Shout out to Smokes. We have the owner of the food community here with us today. We got Jay from 360 as their rep. We got Mega in the cut too, looking out for his wife.
Yes.
That part.
Always.
So with that being said, shout out to all you guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Check the links in the comments. In the description to tap in. We're out of here.
These